I'm Tammy Mastroberti, best-selling author of the books The Universe is Talking to You and the Higher Help Method, and I teach people how to tap into what I call the higher helpline of the universe. And today we are going to be talking about doing versus being when it comes to manifestation. And it's actually important to do both, and I'm going to explain why. And I'm going to explain how they really work together. They coexist together to help you create. And we really need to be going back and forth between them, right? We need to be cycling back and forth between doing and being. Another word for doing and being would be acting and then receiving, right? Receiving the signs, receiving the information. So when it comes to manifesting, specifically manifesting by partnering with the universe, right? Which is what I teach. Because we're not doing anything in this world alone. We were never meant to do anything in this world alone. We are co-creating, and that as part of that co-creating is the universe and the energy that exists around us that we can tap into. So I recently was doing, every beginning of every month, I do a live members only for my people in my higher helpline membership community. We do a live group oracle card reading for what we need to know for the month. And then we also do a individual member readings. And the theme for the month in the big reading that was also followed up in a lot of the membership readings was about that being stage, was about that receiving stage. And I think we look at that being or that receiving stage sometimes and we're aggravated with it because it's like we feel like we're waiting. We feel like nothing's happening. We feel like we're stuck in some way, right? And so, hold on a second. I don't know if somebody's here for my. I have somebody coming to fix our air conditioning, and I don't know if, of course, they just pulled up and I'm home alone, so I had to text my husband. Okay, so we get frustrated in that stage because it's like nothing's happening and we're not doing anything and we're just in this waiting game. But it's a key element, right? So let me break it down to you this way. The doing stage, the action stage is acting on the signs and guidance that we get. It is taking steps to actually move forward. So ideas that we get, knowledge, maybe we already have research that we need to do on something that we need to look into. All of that is part of that taking action stage, right? When there's something that we can do or there's something that we know and there's something that we can take action on. Doing is also asking the universe for help, right? Doing is also, I don't know what to do. I haven't gotten the signs and guidance yet. I don't have the idea. I'm not sure what to research. I don't know where to go. I'm completely stuck. I need inspiration. I need help. That doing is asking the universe for help, right? The second step in the higher help method is asking the universe to partner with you, to help you, to create the positive change, to solve the problem that you're trying to solve, to find the solution you need to something that's been hanging over you. That is where you ask the universe for help. Whether it's through prayer, whether it's through rituals, whether it's by using, and programming crystals, asking the universe. And the easiest way to do that is through just asking, right? And if you don't like the word prayer, just say talking to the universe, asking the universe. That's the doing. All of that falls under the doing, right? You're going back and forth between doing and being often throughout the day. Okay? Because let's say, for example, you have absolutely no idea what you want to do or where you're going or what's happening. You have no clue. You start your day by doing. You're saying your prayer, right? You're saying, I have a morning prayer in the higher help. I'm sorry, I have a morning prayer in the universe is talking to you book. And also you can get it for free at my website, tammymastrobrody.com. Where you're asking the universe for help, right? You're starting your day by doing. Now you've asked for help and you immediately go into the being. You immediately go into the receiving, where now you're waiting for the idea to come to you. You're waiting for the guidance. You're waiting for the sign, the synchronistic moment, the opportunity, the overheard conversation, someone that all of a sudden drops in with an answer, right? Now you're in the being stage. When you get an idea, when something comes to you in some way, you're going to go back into the doing because you are now going to act on that, right? So then maybe let's say something happens and somebody gives you an idea and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to look into that. And then the doing is, I'm going to look into that. I'm going to do the research. I'm going to start moving forward. And then maybe that's the end of that particular situation. Or maybe you do what you need to do and you get to the next step. And then you're like, okay, what's the next step? Back into the receiving, right? So it's this partnership. It's this dance back and forth. The being of waiting for guidance, waiting for the sign, waiting for the idea, and the doing in acting on it. Or the doing, it starts with doing by asking the universe for help, right? Sometimes that being stage might be longer than we are happy with. Sometimes the being stage feels like, I don't know what to do. I haven't gotten any sign. I haven't gotten any answer. I have no idea what to do. What the hell am I supposed to sit here and now I'm getting frustrated, right? Here's the crucial thing about that, because you're always going to go back and forth between the doing and the being. You always are going to go back and forth, but you have to be comfortable in the being stage. And I don't mean comfortable as in I'm not doing anything, because when a sign comes through or something comes through or an idea comes to you, for you to move forward, you have to act on that. You have to act on that in order to move yourself forward. But the being stage, when you're waiting for something to come through, when you're waiting for the idea, when you're waiting to see what the universe has planned for you, what opportunity is going to sync up for you, you do not want to fall into worry, stress, frustration, anxiety, aggravation, impatience, anger, any of that, right? You don't want to fall into that, because if you are in the being stage where you are waiting to receive the guidance and you allow yourself to get into that crappy state, it is going to be infinitely harder for you to get said guidance, for you to notice the information, for you to even be in alignment with it, for you to even get the idea in your head to go to a store where you're going to meet someone that's going to help you, right? If you're in that frustration stage, you don't even feel like leaving the house. You're not going to a store. Do you see what I'm saying? So that being stage is key for you to be doing step 3 in the higher help method, which is shifting your energy. You have got to be open to the guidance coming in so that you can move back into the doing stage, so that you can do and take steps forward and then go back to that being stage and keep yourself in a higher vibration and a higher energy. So how can we sit in that being stage, sit in that receiving stage where we've done all that we can do, and now we're just kind of waiting to see what's going to happen and where we're going to go, right? How can we manage that? Yeah, sorry, I was just looking. It's hard with Instagram because the comments go too fast. So How can we be in that stage of, and it's such an important stage. It's such an important stage for us to be able to move forward, right? Because things take time that we're trying to create. Things need to be in alignment that we're trying to move forward on. And sometimes the universe takes time to move pieces together, to move those puzzle pieces together, to get you and someone else in the right place at the right time, to give you the idea at the right time so that when you move forward, it's actually going to work. Like sometimes it takes a beat. How can you still find joy in that stage? Because that's the key. That is the most important piece of this. You have to be able to find the joy in the being, receiving, waiting stage. If you can do that, you will then be in a vibration to be able to get the answers. So your question, when you know that you've taken whatever actions you can take to move forward in whatever it is that you're trying to move forward, even if that action is simply, I'm asking the universe for help because I don't know what action to take. When you are now moving from that stage into the, I am now in the being in the receiving stage where I'm waiting for the idea to come through, or I'm waiting for the answer to drop in or be shown to me through a sign or synchronistic experience. You have to focus on what can I do to find joy in the meantime where I am now. That is your job. In doing that, everything will work faster. Everything will work easier so that now you're in a state of alignment and you're allowing stuff to come in and you go back to the doing. Oh my gosh, I ran into so-and-so who had this idea. And then I went online and I looked it up and I signed up for the class, or I did this, or this solved my problem, or whatever it might be. Oh my gosh, this was so amazing. And if it's a big goal that there's several steps, right? You're not just trying to quickly solve a problem. Let's say there's several steps to it. Then it goes back to the receiving. Okay, I've taken this step. Let's see where this goes. Let's see where I'm led next. You have to be able to find joy in that. If you are on Facebook and YouTube, first of all, please like the live. I always forget to say, please like the live so that this gets out to more people. I really appreciate it. That would be amazing. But if you are on Facebook or YouTube, I have a link to a free Infuse It with Joy exercise, which I'm going to briefly tell you about here, but it gives you a whole workbook for it. And this exercise allows you to find joy in everything you do. I mean, everything. I don't care if it's the laundry, the ironing, cooking that you don't like to do, exercising that you don't feel like doing, commuting to work, cleaning the house, whatever it is that you know, my God, I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing this. This is sucking joy out of me. This exercise will allow you to find joy in absolutely everything you do. So now, no matter what, there is joy attached to it. It's easier if you can pre-plan the joy and know, like, here are ways that I can find joy in everything that I do on a daily basis or a weekly basis, or maybe I only do it once a month, but I can't stand it. There's a woman on TikTok who only grocery shops once a month. God bless her. I don't know how she does that. So if there is a way for you to know, I've already done this exercise and I now know how to bring joy to all of these different tasks that I have to do, it's going to be easier for you to maintain that as you move throughout your days and your weeks. So now when you're in that receiving stage, you're not going to allow yourself to drop down into the frustration, the worry, the anxiety, because you are going to be focused on how can I bring joy to every task that I am doing. This is a little tip for you to be able to assist you in that being stage, right? And it's called the Infuse It with Joy exercise, which I've talked about before. But basically, in a nutshell, and you can get that for free. It is linked below on YouTube and Facebook. In a nutshell, what I have you do is you go through your day. You start with daily. What are all the things that I do daily? I get up, I pick out an outfit to wear that day. This is just, I don't know, maybe you do your outfit the night before. Sometimes I do that. I take a shower, I make my coffee, I make my breakfast, I commute to work, or I read a book or whatever you're doing in the morning. And then, I go to work, and then I'm at work all day, and then I have to come home, and I'm I have to cook dinner, or, whatever the daily things that you do. Either you commute to work, you don't commute to work. Maybe you commute, I commute down into my basement, right? That's where my office is. So whatever the things that you do on a daily basis, maybe you bring, your child back and forth to school or to sports practices. Maybe you're stuck there waiting at a sports practice. What are the things that you are doing on a daily basis? Then I have you look at what are the things maybe you only do once a week. So maybe you grocery shop once a week. Maybe you clean your house once a week. Like on Saturdays are the days that I tidy up or whatever. What are the things, maybe you only do laundry on the weekends, right? So what are the things that you do weekly? And then I also have monthly. So maybe you visit a loved one on a monthly basis. Maybe you have a monthly dinner with family or something like that. I have you list it all out. And then I literally, in this exercise, have you go through each item to see if you enjoy the activity, if this is something that truly brings you joy. And you're going to go through each one. And then I have you ask specific questions in the exercise to decide whether or not it brings you joy. And if not, ways to remedy that. So you get different options to see what are the ways to remedy that. How can I bring more joy to it? Can I get help with it? Can I hire this out? If you're grocery shopping and you can't stand it, can you order your groceries and then just go pick them up? Or can you have them delivered? Different things like that. And I have you go through the whole exercise. And what it does is it really allows you to look at everything you're doing and find ways to bring joy to it, so that it's not not only is it not a like energy drain, right? But it's also consistently infusing joy into your day. So when you're in that waiting stage, you are still finding things that are bringing you joy throughout the day, keeping you aligned, keeping you in a space that feels good, keeping you in a higher vibration, so that you are now in alignment and in a place for the to receive, to be, and to receive, and to allow the things to flow to you, to allow the answers, the ideas, the signs, the synchronicities, the people, the opportunities, the resources, etc., to flow to you when you are in that more joyful stage. So the exercise really just, it doesn't take that long to do. You just sit down and kind of list the stuff out, ask yourself the different questions that I have you ask, and then say, okay, well, how can I infuse this with more joy? So if you are someone that does commute, can you listen to an audiobook? Can you listen to a podcast? Can you call people that you haven't talked to in a while, or that you enjoy talking to on your drive? How can I make this drive more joyful? Same thing with doing the laundry, right? Like, how can I I don't mind doing the laundry. It's like folding it and putting it away for me is like, oh, I just don't want to do it. Right. Like, I think a lot of people are like that. Like, I don't mind throwing it in the wash and then throwing it in the dryer, but dear God, now I have to fold it all and put it away, like, or hang it up or whatever I'm doing. I don't like to do it. So how can I make that more enjoyable? Can I sit down with my laundry that's all done and watch one of my favorite shows on Netflix, or, watch Tammy's weekly spirit boost on YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, right? Like, what can I do to make this activity more enjoyable? Maybe I'm exercising and I'm not enjoying that. What can I watch while I'm exercising, or what can I listen to while I'm exercising? I'm always doing that. I'm always thinking like, oh, I don't feel like exercising, but I get to watch the next episode of this show while I'm doing it. Or, I'm going to go for a walk and what podcast can I listen to? Or what class did I sign up for but didn't watch? And now I need to watch the replay or listen to the replay. So now I'll do that while I'm on my walk. There are little tweaks that we can do throughout our day to make a difference. And overall, these little tweaks to bring more joy into everything we're doing, into our daily mundane tasks or weekly, etc., make that being stage so much easier. But what I want you to remember is that being is not forever, right? When you are in that stage of watching for the next sign, things will flow again. And that was a kind of a highlight that came from the members live that we did on Monday. It was like, we know that you're in the stage of like, I'm not really resting. I'm actively seeking and looking, but I haven't gotten the answer yet. Things will flow again. We need to be in that receiving stage in order to get the answer, in order for the universe to have time to line things up. Not always. Sometimes you're in the being stage and an idea comes to you and you act on the idea and you're amazing. But sometimes there's things that need to line up, right? In the timing, and the universe needs the time to line those things up. Things will flow again. They will always flow again if you can keep yourself in that more elevated state. So how can I infuse joy into everything I do? That's why I created that Infuse It with Joy exercise, which I believe is also in the universe is talking to you, but you can get for free, linked below on YouTube and Facebook. I created that exercise for me, by the way. I created it for my work that I was doing years ago. I'm going like back maybe 8 years ago, where I created the exercise because I was like, I need to stop doing things in my business that I don't enjoy and I need to get somebody else to do them. So that's how it started. And then I said to myself, why am I just doing this for business? I need to be doing this in every area of my life. And that is how I wound up creating the exercise for myself and then saying, oh, I'm going to share this with people. So this exercise has been around for a long time. I've been on TV shows where I share the exercise in the past, like on news. I was on Fox, and I was on, I went to Jacksonville, Florida, and did something there where I've shared exercises like this. And it is such a simple thing to do, but it makes a huge difference when you can pre-plan your joy. And here's the thing, because I always get the question, well, Tammy, what if I can't think of anything to make the activity more enjoyable, right? Like, let's say you have to go visit a relative that you always aggravate with. It's not like you can listen to a podcast when you're in the presence of the relative. You have to be there, right? Or, maybe there's some other thing where you're like, no, I can't hire anybody to help me. I absolutely have to do it myself. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure how to bring joy to it. The answer is you are going to reward yourself after. That's where the joy is going to come in. I'm going to go treat myself to something. I'm going to be able to come home and watch my show, or do something that I really want to do, or buy something that I deserve, or whatever it is. You're going to treat yourself so that once you get through the exercise, joy awaits. Okay? That's how I answer that part of it. So check out this exercise. And this conversation is really a two-part where, like, number one, I'm giving you a solution for the being. But number two, I want you to know that you are constantly going to move back and forth between doing and being, between taking action and waiting to receive the next step. It's just sort of how it goes, especially when you have taken the initiative to ask the universe for help, to ask the universe to partner with you, so that you are not solving problems, finding solutions, making decisions, or manifesting on your own. That's why I created the higher help method. Again, created it for myself, didn't even realize I was creating it until I sat down and thought, what am I doing that's working? Oh my gosh, it's a method. So that's where that came from. And that is what has worked for me consistently. Anytime I'm stuck, I go back to that higher help method. I go back to asking the universe for help. That is always my first doing step, is always asking the universe for help. Then I sit back. Maybe it'll take a day, maybe it'll take a couple of days. An idea might come to me, or something might be presented to me, and I'll go, "Oh, that's interesting. I feel like I've heard of that before." And then, maybe a couple weeks will pass and I'll hear about it again, and I'll go, "Oh my gosh, that's my answer. I get it, right? I get it. That's what I'm supposed to do." I cannot tell you how many times this has happened to me, and I have now realized that when I hear of something twice, why am I waiting? Because sometimes I will still wait until the third person tells me about something. This recently happened with a technology for my company that I was going to use, and I heard of it somewhere, and I thought, "Oh, I used to use that." Then I stopped using it because it wasn't really working. Then all of a sudden, a second person told me about it. And I thought, you're the second person that told me about that. I used to use it. And they were like, "Oh, no, now it does X, Y, and Z." And I thought, "Oh, that's interesting. Okay." And then, like finally I heard it a third. Now, it wasn't that long in between each other, but finally I heard it the third time. And I said, "I can't believe you're talking to me about this. That you're the third person to bring this up to me." And I finally acted on it. Don't be like me. Don't wait 3 times. But I did. I waited 3 times. Because in my back of my head, I got to look into this. I got to look into this. This is what happens with the universe. It gives you a sign and you're like, "I have to look into this. I should really do this. This is something I have to put on my to-do list." And then we get distracted and we don't do it. And then the universe comes back in and was like, "Hey, remember?" So they'll send somebody else to talk to me about it. And I'll go, "Oh my God, that's right. I really have to look into that." And then I don't do it. Right? And then the universe is like, "Girl." And then there's a third thing. And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's the receiving." But it's our job to take action on it. And the good news is the universe won't give up. It will keep throwing it in your face over and over again until you go from the receiving and the being to the doing and the taking action. Okay. And then it's like, "Okay, she got the message. We're good. And if you need more help, let me know." And then when you need more help, you go back to the doing and you ask the universe for help, and then you wait for new things to come in. Right. It's just this sort of oscillating back and forth, beautiful dance of creation. But the being stage is sometimes hard, and that's why I wanted to tell you about how can you bring joy to that stage. That's what you need to be asking yourself every day while I'm waiting for the amazing things that I am creating with the universe to come to fruition, to get the signs to move me forward. What can I do to just be happy now? What can I look forward to? What can I treat myself to? What can I do? I don't even care if it's treating yourself to like some time to read a book and take a bath or listen to music, or, whatever it is. What can I do today to either find the joy in the moment or have some type of a reward for the joy at the end of the day so that I can boost myself back up? That is my advice. That is my weekly spirit boost for you today. Let me just check comments. But tell me if do you guys get stuck in the being? Is it just me that winds up getting stuck in the being? I just feel like sometimes the being is just an annoying place to be in. But if I can find joy in every day and in the moments that I'm doing, it makes it easier, because I know that no matter what, things are going to flow again. They're going to flow again. That's how it works, right? You can't stay stuck forever as long as you are doing, at least by asking the universe for help. So I know things are going to flow again. So how can I just find joy while I'm waiting for the flow, right? Okay, let me check. Oh, Nancy said hello. Hi, Nancy. Ruth says, "It's always good to hear this information again. I so need to be reminded." I need to be reminded, Ruth. Like, it's just like we all need to be reminded. And the thing is, there are literally these little tools, like my Infuse It with Joy exercise, right? There's these little tools that we can do to make life easier, to make life, manifestation, problem solving, daily existence easier and less stressful. And that's my goal for myself and for anything that I'm teaching, is I want you to make your life easier, less stressful, happier, more joy-filled, and more in connection with this power that we all have access to, and this energy that we all have access to. Nancy said, yes, I always say, act on the whispers before they come shouts. Yes, 100%. You hear people say this a lot about like health things sometimes too, is like, you might have a little pain and you're like, oh, you explain it away and then it starts getting worse. And it's like your body is similar to the universe in that way, is if you are too stressed out, not taking downtime, not taking care of yourself, your body starts talking to you little by little until it absolutely starts screaming. I always tell the story when I was younger. Was I 30? I was in my early 30s. And I was running a million miles an hour. I had a full-time job. I was doing my online magazine. I was going and going and going, and there was like no downtime. And my brain was always going because I'm a type A personality, and I still have to remind myself to slow everything down, including my brain. And I got shingles. And it was like, wow, like what a wake up call that was. Do you know what I mean? Like I had other symptoms and I knew that there was stress, but it was just like it had become my norm. Like this is just how I exist. I'm not stressed. This is just my life. And then I got shingles. And I was like, and the doctor thought I was nuts because I went into him and I said to him, I think I have shingles because I saw like a small little patch. And I don't know, call it intuition. I just said to myself, this ain't right. Went to the doctor and he was like, how old are you? And I was like, oh, I'm 30. Well, I don't know if I was 31, 32. I don't remember. I was young. And young for shingles anyway. And he looked at it and he was like, oh my God, you do have shingles. And I was like, hello, talk about a wake up call, right? So it's the same thing with signs. Like the universe will just keep throwing it in your face and throwing it in your face until you're like, oh, I get it. And again, this is literally something that recently happened to me. I'm going to say within the past couple months about this technology where I was finally like, okay, I'm doing it. This is the third time. I should listen by two. Why am I waiting until the third time? But we get busy, we get distracted. The universe knows it. So it's just going to keep throwing stuff in your face. That's how it works when you're in partnership with it, right? When you are actively, consciously working with your higher help team to move forward. That's how it works. They're just going to keep throwing it in your face and throwing it in your face. So what are we going to do this weekend? Oh, how I always tell you. And listen, I end my weekly spirit boost by telling you to do something that brings you joy for this purpose. Now you have an exercise you can do this weekend. So if you download the Infuse It with Joy exercise, you can do this exercise this weekend and start next week in a more joyful place, in doing the things you do throughout the day with more joy. And you are going to start training yourself to ask yourself, oh, like if something new comes up now, I'll go, oh God, how can I make this more enjoyable? What can I do to pass the time and make me enjoy this activity more, or whatever it is? Like my brain just goes there now. So this weekend, not only are you going to do something that brings you more joy, but you are going to do the exercise and you are going to start next week in a more joyful place, so that while you are doing the doing, whether it's just saying that prayer every day, asking for help, or actually acting on stuff that comes, and then you fall back into that receiving, you are at least going to have joy pre-planned into your day every day to keep your energy up so that you can actually receive the guidance coming in. So that is your plan for the weekend. I have now given it to you. Next week, I am actually not going to be live because I'm traveling. So I will be back the following Thursday. I'll try and post something for you guys. I'm always posting new YouTube videos. If you're not on my YouTube or subscribed to my YouTube, I'm always posting new videos on there for you. I've been doing a ton of like reels on Instagram and TikTok and all of that. So you can still find some boosts from me, even though I won't be here live next Thursday, but I will be back the following Thursday. So now you have an entire almost 2 weeks to enact the Infuse It with Joy exercise and let me know how it goes. So have an amazing, not only rest of this week into the weekend, but all of next week. And I will be back here with you guys the following week. And until then, you are going to do things that bring you joy. You are going to find joy in the receiving. You are going to make sure that you're going back and forth between the doing and receiving. And if you have any questions or anything else you ever need from me or want me to cover, just drop it here and I'm happy to do a live on it. So I will see you guys soon. Bye everyone. Have a great weekend.